everything, but the first section is the budget calendar. The remaining items on the calendar is on the 15th. If necessary, we would have a follow-up work session. Also on the 15th, the notice of public hearings required. It's went out, so it should be in the paper. On the 26th will be the public hearing at 4:30 for the 26-27 budget. The next page is just the from WVDE. It is a summary of the code references for each of the items that are in the calendar. In section 2 is the budget itself, the revenue and expenditure detail. We'll go through some of that, but I won't go into a lot of detail on the document itself. I'll hit the high points. In section 3 is the public school support section. For state aid, retirement, PEIA. It also goes through some local share stuff that I'll go over with you in a little bit as well. Section 4 is the levy order and rate sheet calculations. And section 5 is the excess levy call, the different areas that are funded through the excess levy, as well as the call document behind it. Section 6 is the departmental budget requests. Section 7 is all the salary schedules and the green book, which shows you the staffing by location, is in that. And in section 8, there's an enrollment summary, technology funding analysis, and the child nutrition information. This budget will point out there's definitely significant challenges for the district as we go into FY27. If you look in the budget draft on page 1 of the revenue section, down towards the bottom of the page, this budget is projecting a $6.5 million deficit for next year.
Where we at? Tell me again, what section?
Section 2,
Section 2.
the revenue detail.
I got you.
So $6.5 million. That's up from $4.5 million projection for this year. So as we go through today, while the number's 6.5, I'll show you the numbers can be a lot worse as we go forward. And this all comes back to well, there's several factors. I mean, it's staffing, it's inflation, it's declining enrollment. So while state aid went up, we had declining enrollment. It really just masked the 3% is why we saw an increase in state aid. So so some significant issues for the district in the coming year. In section 3, back towards the back of the section, there is a abbreviated summary of the public school support program. It would be probably about 5 or 6 sections back. It's behind the local share calculations. You're on the executive there, so if you go a little bit further. No, this the other way. Yeah, the other way. Yeah, it's the first handout. It's an abbreviated summary of the public school support program. Just for your information, second paragraph, the public school support program provides allowance for personnel salaries in steps 1, 2, and 5, employee benefit costs in step 3, transportation costs in step 4, general operating substitute costs and allowances for faculty senates in step 6, and improvement of instructional programs, increase in technology funding, advanced placement, and teacher leader induction for professional growth in step 7. So that kind of gives you a summary as you go through the public school support, what each of those provides. And down in the third paragraph, FY25 was the last year of the implementation of the Third Grade Success Act. That provides some different ratios, a little bit higher ratios to fund those classroom positions. And of course, under that, each district's local share is subtracted from that district's public school support allowance to arrive at the state aid the district is entitled to receive. Local share is a computation of a district's regular levy property tax collections, and I'll go through that here in just a second. But the way local share is determined, it is computed by multiplying the taxable assessed valuation of all property in the district for the current fiscal year as certified by the assessor by 85% of the regular levy rates, and then deducting 4% as an allowance for exonerations, delinquencies, and other allowances. So the handout right before that actually is the local share calculations. So if you go back to page 6, well, 5 will show you for Raleigh County, the projected, at the 85%, the projected collections would be 20.2 million. Take off the 4% for 948,000. Or add that, I'm sorry. And you get 22,770, 344. You take off this on page 6, the assessor's valuation. So Raleigh County's local share amounts to 18,757,000. Okay. And if you follow that over to the third handout, which is the final comps on page 7. You can see that the total program allowance is 86.3 million, but then you reduce off that 18.7 million to get to state aid. So while we're blessed in the district to have increased assessed valuations, it giveth and it taketh away. It giveth at the local level, it taketh away at the state level. So, yeah. So it's just on the regular levy collections, thank goodness. But still, that's kind of how the whole local share thing works. So I just wanted to go through that with you this morning. Yes. Yes.
Almost back to the rec decision where the county said the haves and the have-nots, the have taken money away from the haves to give the have-nots.
Yeah. So if you look at, like, you could follow through those local share calculations. If you take section 4, which is your levy collections, the regular levy collections, and the TIF, you can follow those through that local share calculation and see how that's.
Any active shifts in the county right now?
Yes. The one big one that we have in the county is the turnpike, the new, yeah. So that's a TIF. So, all right. Before we get into the meat of the problem in the county, I would like to just go ahead and go over the budget request for the year. That's the big sheet that you have. Now this summarizes all the budget requests for the year, the LSIC requests, the departmental budget requests, the CEFP summaries are in this. So some things you may see listed 2 or 3 times, but it's only going to be in the budget once. A lot of times those CEFP amounts that are calculated are much higher than what the actual cost, turns out to be in the end. So we take all of those requests and we have meetings with our directors, and through those meetings, we prioritize the list. One is a priority that is in the budget for FY27. 2 would be a secondary. It may be something that we can put off for a year or 2, but will probably come back up at a later time. 3 is considered not a priority. And 4 are the items that we are actually doing now from those LSIC requests we received in the fall. So starting at the top, ACT, elevator replacement, $250,000. There are 3 elevators in the county that are in the schools that are at end of life. So one's at Woodrow, and that'll be corrected through the renovation project. The second one is at ACT, and the third one, is it Beckley Stratton?
I think it's special programs.
Hold on here, I'll find it.
I'm pretty certain it's I mean, it's OSP,
Maybe it is.
I think, special programs. Yeah, special programs.
Yeah, so, those are all slated to basically be replaced in the coming year. We do have some other, one being right here in this office, that's at end of life. We'll probably do it, but we want to make sure we get the instructional side completed first. Beckley Elementary, LED replacement in the hallway and commons, $6,300. Beckley Elementary, camera server replacement, $13,000. Beckley Stratton Middle, replacing 8 sinks with the stainless sinks. New student and instructor desks. You don't send them out there because we'll fund that out of step 7 for materials and supplies. Bradley Elementary, remove the tile and redo with 4-coat epoxy. That's at the front entrance, $14,000. Also a camera server replacement for $13,000. Business office, we put this in every year for the Chronos replacement clocks. All of our computers are 7 years old, so they're due for replacement. Chronos, annual software fee. We now have to, when we do Chronos, we have to actually host it on their server. We can't host it on our own servers anymore. So there's a charge for that data storage.
It's like cloud storage or something.
Yeah, and basically seems like everyone's going to that now. They're forcing companies onto cloud storage. We also have Chronos is at end of life. Every 6th year, I think, we have to replace our Chronos software. So we're working through that. There's some pretty neat upgrades to that'll help make us more efficient. Child nutrition, emergency equipment funding, that's in the budget every year, $50,000. And also, they need to replace the point of service laptops, 1/3 of them in our elementary schools. And they need to replace the managers' desktops. Clear Fork, a new storage building. And Coal City, replacing 7 rooftop units. Also painting the gym at Coal City, $20,000. HVAC replacement, that was $225,000. You can see that's a request everywhere. It's the LSIC requested it. It's in the CEFP, and maintenance has identified it. So that's definitely one we want to deal with. Crescent, new storage building in the playground area. This is basically to take out the 3 storage units and replace it with 1 new storage unit. It's part of the playground project. Daniels Elementary. There's several things at Daniels that will allow us to basically complete all of our work at Daniels in the coming year. One is the LVT tile in the office and library, painting of the gym for $20,000. And then I think our summer paint crew is going to be over there doing the hallways and commons. So that will, and along with the pre-K project, will complete pretty much all of our work at Daniels.
What is renovate library?
That is to take out the flooring and the cabinet. I think their cabinetry is really old and needs replaced. That we're doing. And I think maintenance has already been there doing the lighting project as well. So, yeah, it's just dated. Needs replaced. So, at Fairdale, we need to replace the boiler controls. Federal programs, increasing the stipend for the academic coaches to match the TIS and special ed specialists. So, health services, just some scanners, 2,000, rental equipment, 2,400, AED supplies. That's a thing about the AEDs. They also give us every so many years, you got to go in and replace all the medical supplies that's
We
in
on a
those.
rotation on that, on the AEDs, to do so many every year, or how we do those?
Courtney would probably have to speak to that, but
You correct me wrong if I'm wrong, Dr. Starcher, when Ms. Foster, when you were in this previous position, it would probably be good if we could do it like that, Mr. Snuffer. But I think when we purchased them all together,
Right.
well, then they all run out their shelf life.
Same time,
All
I'm saying, yeah.
it goes out at the same time. You know what I mean? So so we're finding ourselves replenishing all of them countywide because we got them all at the same time.
and these are our in-school units. So we also have a rotation for the athletics.
Right.
So
They're about different times.
they're a different time, yeah.
Correct.
A little different times.
Yeah.
So the athletic piece, those are mobile AEDs.
Right.
That the
Right.
expectation
The
is
others
the
are
coach.
wall-mounted.
Yeah.
Correct.
things.
Correct.
Yeah.
Iowa stations, then Hollywood, and you're going to see there's quite a few of these HVAC systems that are dated that we're starting to have to go in and start replacing some units. These are not wholesale HVAC replacements for the school per se, but just units.
Yeah.
Replacing 4 rooftop units, 70,000. Rekeying the building for 15,000. That's we try to do 2 schools a year, I believe.
There's been a big request at LSIC
yeah.
to have those.
To have the schools rekeyed. Independence High School, LVT tile in the office, front lobby and cafeteria, cafe area. New bleachers, 225,000. A roof replacement. And this is when we talk about inflation and pressures on school boards. One of the areas that have really seen a tremendous increase is roofs. So you can see 1.8 million there. We'll follow that up. There's a $3.5 million one coming for Shady High School probably next year.
I'm
So,
probably wrong on it, but close to it. But I've been here on, we did Independence. I remember we did the roof replacement on it last time.
mhm.
And it was probably 300,000-400,000.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean-
it's 20 years ago, but I'm just saying, it's ridiculous. We used to do most schools for under $500,000.
Pre-COVID, 800,000 was a large roof.
Yeah.
And I want to pass this around to you. This is a roofing priority report. I wanted to show you where we are on our roof plan in the county. You know, even probably going back even before COVID, there were some issues with roofs, but then COVID really made it a lot worse because you couldn't get the materials. The adhesive went up triple. I mean, you couldn't do anything on a roof. So over the last few years, we've been trying to catch up on our roofs. This report is from Garland. They come in every year. They do an annual assessment of our roofs in the county. And so if you can see, if you go back towards the back, I mean, you can see the good, excellent roofs, of course, are the ones that we've done really recently for Bradley, Coal City, Cranberry, Stratton, and Woodrow, most of Woodrow. And then good, I mean, we have a lot of roofs in our county that are in good shape.
I think, some of those, I know we don't always follow to it, but anytime we used to do a HVAC upgrade, we try to do the roof right after. You don't want to do it the other way around. You don't want to do that, and put the HVAC in and
Right.
walk over it and do it.
Yeah.
So I saw you had, what, new roof, was it Independence? Is that what it's gonna be?
So if you go back to the back, yeah, Independence is the one that we're talking
There was
about.
one before that, I thought even maybe this year, somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coal City is
In
getting
Coal
new
City.
roofs.
Yeah.
Meantime, those things in such a way that there's HVAC upgrades that can be done, do this in such a way because
Correct.
And then before we had some problem, we did that, then we, HVAC contractor came in, we started having leaks right around the units where we just put a new roof on.
Yeah. Over on page 6, you'll start to see the ones where the roofs have failed. Clear Fork is one that needs to be addressed. It would not be addressed in 27, probably be a 28 project. Independence High School, it's the one we just discussed, 1.8 million. That'll be done in 27. Liberty High School is being done this summer, so FY 26. Park Middle's being done this summer, FY 26. Stanford, on the last page, is being done in FY 26.
What's EPDM?
EPDM, that's a technical term. I'm not an expert, but I believe that's, we go all the way to the deck on most of those that have failed. And re-insulating cement, is that?
Correct. Christian, I can't think of Christian's last name.
Yeah, I can't either.
But the gentleman, Mr. Ford, that did the roof evaluation with Garland, that's the new, I won't say style, but that's the new and the best, EPDM. I don't know the acronym it stands for, but Darren is correct. You're going all the way down the deck and you're, strategically replacing it with a more modernized roof, if you will. I can get you the.
We went from gravel, the old car and gravel, and then we came up to the, I call it Gore-Tex-like, vinyl stuff we put in there.
Yeah, and then they're seamed,
Inner seam stuff,
Yeah.
we did that. like
heat
that.
seamed,
Yeah,
so.
different things. We've been through roof things forever.
So an EPDM, just Google it, is a durable, flexible synthetic rubber roofing membrane, ideal for low slope, flat roofs with a lifespan often exceeding 30 to 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your lifespan, I guess the big selling point is you get longer than the 20 years that you're seeing on that.
The other thing is we never get it.
Right.
I know, it's what it said, thing.
Yeah.
But it is funny on that thing with, Independence there and Liberty, they were both put on at the same time before.
Mhm.
And they're
Yeah.
about filling together here. It's
Yeah.
just, it's we kind of know that.
Well, Shady High School, is kind of a surprise, but if you remember when we did the renovations,
Yeah.
we did selected,
With all that.
I think we did selective, the new addition on the front got new roofing, but we didn't do a lot of the replacement on the rest of the facility, so.
Of course, the gym and all that section out there would all be new roof.
Yeah.
That's a,
Yeah, so this is and that's gonna be the projection there, high projection's 3.5 million. I don't think it'll come in that high, but it will be a significant roof replacement that'll take place, probably in FY 28. If you go up even into the poor, you can see Independence High Schools, that'll be replaced this year in Liberty. And then, Woodrow Wilson, the main building will get a roof replacement as part of the renovations, so.
we did that roof replacement, we put those big chillers on top of it. Remember, you see those,
Yeah.
you see them out there, you were probably at the school at the time.
That was probably around 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were probably there, because we
Yes.
put those.
So C and D,
Up there.
C and D wings, is it C and D?
In the gym.
And the gym and the field house have all been done. So this will be the
When you say
last,
main building, you're talking
yeah.
A
Yeah.
section.
So I just wanted to give that to you to show you that, roofs are being addressed.
When we do the new, we got the Woodrow project, we do the office and all that new thing. Is that roof included
Yes,
part of this?
Yes, that would be
yes,
part of it.
yes.
Okay.
So I just wanted to show that to you because, nowadays, if you get behind on your roofing plan, I don't think there's a way a county can come out of
Yeah.
that. So,
Well, it does no good to do all the extra stuff and then have a leaky roof. There's nothing that looks
yeah,
worse. I remember Charlie Can too, we had a problem with Coal City. You went Coal City and there was buckets down the hallway down through there. And that, well, you were over in that area, you know how it was. And it's embarrassing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when, remember, Rick, we started setting aside and doing
Money-
roofs. to
Yeah, exactly,
remodel.
yep. because it's just, it's white hat and taking care of the roofs, and it was just bad.
Well, those are the things you'll start, I mean, you'll see every year now is HVAC and roofs, because we have so many. Even when we get outside of our schools, we have several roofs that are on this report that are in poor condition, so. Always a need for roof work.
On there, Christian, Raleigh. We still maintain in Raleigh, is there any way that building could be consolidated into something else? Have we ever looked at that?
So,
Wait, yeah, okay.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So we are still using, iRaleigh. I have been in communication with an attorney to determine how we might be able to leave iRaleigh. We have what's that thing called?
Easement
An
issue.
easement
Yeah,
issue.
there's always
Yeah.
been one, and we tried that before because we don't own some of the property.
Right.
The railroad, and different things too.
Well, even the easement is restrictive because there are certain entities that you cannot sell the property to. So it's not just an easement, it's also a restrictive easement in that part. And then there's a disputed easement on one side of the building
Right.
of who actually owns the easement and where it ends. So,
And I think it's CSX that owns that property. So that is something we would like to at least be able to continue to explore, and perhaps as we look to downsize that we could move out of that building,
Well, anytime we can-
relocate.
Anytime, well, you know that, anytime we can, consolidate and move away with the facility and consolidate those services to somewhere else we're already doing, it's just a win-win for us.
Correct. So
Well-
that is something we've already started reviewing.
this facility presents a
Unique.
unique issue in that not only is there the easement is one issue, but when you move out of that facility, one of our main server backups is in that building, and that is an estimated $100,000+ cost to move that to another building. So there are some cost benefit issues we'll have to sort through to see if it's worth, doing.
Sounds pretty high for moving the server, but that's.
Are we paying rent on the building?
No,
Which we actually tried to sell that building one time. We tried to sell that building, to remember, and then they said, well, you don't own what you're trying to sell.
right.
Philip went through and started looking at it and stuff, and he said, yeah, they're right. We don't own it.
Now our understanding so far, and this is just preliminarily, is we do have the right to sell the building, but you have the restrictive easements you have to follow. So there's certain entities, and I don't remember what they are, but that you cannot sell it to. So we have to keep that in mind. Continue with Independence, the lights on the field house, 8,500. Improving the softball field road. When you try to get down into the softball field there, it's a pretty big problem. So new gym bleachers, that was up there in the earlier one, that was an LSIC, as was the flooring. Independence Middle, 5,000 replace the urinals, 7,000 fire alarm replacement. Liberty High School, replacing the concrete ramp at the kitchen, 22,000. The next one is a new thing. This is Future Leaders of America contract with the WVMA. I think you can probably speak to that better than I.
Sure, that is something you've already approved as a board, a couple months ago maybe, to start a new program there at Liberty. You'll see on here that the JROTC program was requested, and if you recall, we can't get JROTC, so we're trying this, I think it's West Virginia Military Authority, that's the WVMA.
That's the position we had for another go-back teacher that we could never find.
Correct,
So we decided to restructure that. Charlie did one thing and did
That
it
is
as
correct.
military position.
yes.
So, thanks. Yeah.
Intercom replacement at Liberty, 25,000. Gym floor. On our gym floors, you're probably going to see one of these a year now, where we have maintenance them so much now that we're gonna have to start sanding, sealing, restriping, and then start the process over, so.
That one's about done, or getting done.
Yeah, yeah. Then the LSIC request for junior ROTC. Mapscott Elementary, new storage building. Continuing mystery science, that'll be through textbooks levy. Then we get into the maintenance requests. Gym floor resurfacing. We'll start doing one of those a year, 35,000. General paving striping, 250. Backflow preventer replacements. We asked that maintenance complete those over 4 years, and this will be this is year 1. Next year will be year 2, that process. Vehicle replacements for HVAC truck and a plow truck. Salt spreader boxes. We're going to do one a year. Those are starting to get in pretty rough shape, especially after the winter we just had. Fire and curtain inspections for the auditoriums, 4,000. Health department violations, fire marshal violations, those are every year things they have to deal with. Asbestos and tile abatement, 50,000. Turf field maintenance, 10,000. I think we're in year 6 or 7 next year. Let me see here.
You know, it's cool.
We started those either 19 or year 19 or 20.
Yeah, so we're in year 5. We'll be in year 6 next year. Yeah,
The work that they came back and doing, some of that warranty work.
It was one, it was.
That was warranty, yeah.
Yes.
yeah. But this work here is specifically when they come back and they redo the pellets. They
Yeah.
have to come in and
Yeah, it's got to be
redo the
done.
pellets and stuff every.
That's what this 10,000 is, just
Right.
the brushing or the upkeeping of it on a yearly basis.
Adding new pellets,
Correct.
running their little broom thing over. it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, if you don't do that, I mean, you,
Gets hard as a brick, so.
well, Mr. Dillon, I thought the soccer field out there that the YMCA has, it's got a bad shape because they haven't done that.
That is correct, and by doing this yearly upkeep, you increase your life of the field, and that's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Restroom upgrades, 50,000. Ceiling tile replacement, 50,000. Outdoor lighting, 15,000. Indoor lighting, 15,000.
Are we still converting over to the LED lighting that we're doing?
Yes, we have made significant upgrades in the last several years
For that?
for LED lighting. Concrete repairs, 100,000. Well, it's approved for 75. Landscaping, 100. And it's not landscaping, it's more of the work they do around our fences, cutting back trees and that kind of thing. IEQ studies, 15,000. Pressure washing the buildings, 20,000. HVAC controls, 100,000. Rentals, 25,000. A lot of these are annual items. It's that they request, so it's been in the maintenance budget. Replacing compliance sprinklers. We told them to do that over 2 years and gave them 35,000 a year. Mower and snow blower replacements, 30,000. Upgrades to the school zone poles, 40,000. Replacement of hot water tanks as needed, 35,000. Fence repairs, 40,000. Preventive maintenance software, 16,000. Garage door repairs, 6,000. Dumpster replacements, 14,000. Sewer drum machine, 5,000. Upgrade to the sewer camera monitor, 6,500. Laptop computers for the HVAC crew, $12,000. And, propane-based refrigerant equipment, $10,000.
Is that, you say program, that's for like Fairdale and so schools that have.
Yeah, I think, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he said it's, the new HVAC systems require this kind of refrigerant, I think is what he
Is that
was,
what it is
and we
now?
don't have the equipment to,
Do that.
Yeah.
You're correct.
Yeah. Equipment trailer, replacement for the road tractor, 52,000. Our trailer is past point of repair, so. Outdoor bleacher replacements, this would be, we're doing several of those currently, actually. So it's 50,000 for FY 26, well, 75 in total. This year, we're doing, several, I can't remember what all the sites we're doing currently.
Shady,
Was it Liberty? Was Liberty this year?
Liberty's on here, but I don't know if we did it yet.
And,
I haven't seen
it
it.
may be,
Independence?
Liberty's baseball, softball.
Independence.
Baseball, softball.
So
Independent.
Shady House softball, baseball, Liberty baseball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where we're finding the problem. Not a problem, it's just, I don't wanna say we have forgotten about those areas, but, those areas quite often get overlooked. You know, they're sometimes they're the portable bleachers, or the portable bleachers that we made stationary. And just over time, we have forgotten about them. So we're trying to go back and touch them.
This was, I think, touched on in our brim inspections, as an area we needed to focus on. So this year, next year is just to complete all of the outdoor bleachers. We've already started this project. What's in the budget for next year is just to complete it, so. Dumpster rental disposal fee increase, $10,000. This comes from the garbage company, of course, so. Marsh Fork Elementary walk-in freezer repairs for $7,000. Maxwell Hill gym lighting, $14,300. Park Middle, the net things you see on Park Middle will be the wrap-up items to basically get us out of the building after we're done with these projects. Replacing the water lines in the kitchen, $5,000. LED lighting in the kitchen, $1,300. That carpet in the mailroom speech, that was an LSIC request. The last thing is the auditorium, seating in the bottom level. That's one where we'd have to take out the seating, redo the carpet and the seating. That would complete the auditorium. But that won't be done until after we're out of this construction project. Frontline central software for personnel, $47,000. That's ongoing. The sub-calling is ongoing, and the IDEMIA is ongoing. Personnel's requested 2 new printers. Purchasing, pressure washing, auxiliary building. A new exterior sign. You'll see this for purchasing in our Office of Special Programs. It's basically give us road frontage like match the signs that we have out here. Just so, I don't think either of those buildings have a sign that actually says what they are, so.
Sylvia School.
Yeah,
School
that's all you see on.
That at the very
Yeah,
top.
yeah.
In the year, I think it was 1925 or something.
An ongoing problem, of course, is the park warehouse. We need some security there. There's been several attempted break-ins of that building, and so we need to upgrade our security. High lift straddle pallet jack, that is to lift items up higher off the floors for them to wrap. Where we're storing our chemicals in the park warehouse, it does need to be heated because it's causing deterioration of some of the chemicals. So, safety and loss control computer, and then part of our training in PD is is switched over to Frontline as well. But that is paid from teacher and leader induction funding, so. Secondary education, advanced placement, testing fees, that's ongoing, 60,000. Youth and government, 3,500, that's ongoing. Proximity Spanish, 101,000, that's ongoing. Mountaineer Challenge Academy, 55,000, that's ongoing. PSAT, College Board portion, and the remainder is paid through Gear Up. Our portion's 14,000. Mastery Prep Boot Camp, 40,000. Shady Spring Elementary, shade for the 512 playground. That'll be, that's through playground request money, so it'll come through out of permanent improvement.
We did the shade elementary playground.
We did. They're requesting a shade and they're actually paying,
4,000,
I thought it was more than that.
4 or 8.
Yeah, I think they're paying at least what we're paying, so,
Okay.
so,
It's one of those parts, they want no shady structure. out there.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's a beautiful playground.
Oh, it is, yes, yes. Shady Spring High School, replacing the fire alarm devices. Now the track replacement at Shady, you can see that's contingent upon carryover funds. So that project's not guaranteed in this budget. It's not in this budget. It'll be funded through, carryover funding if available. So just want to make that, the choice ultimately comes
That would
down
be
to
next,
summer. Yes, yes.
well, I'm just going, I made a comment here today, I know that was correct. But, we made a commitment to them on that. So whatever it takes, as a board member, I think we gotta fulfill that commitment. I don't treat, and even,
Correct. They would be the last high school.
that'd be last one to do, but we gotta
Yeah.
complete that project. You can't do it like that.
And one thing, are you gonna talk about the two?
Go ahead.
One thing, we actually received it last night. You'll see on here, well, it says track replacement, add 2 additional lanes. So Shady High would like to have, 2 additional lanes,
They wanna be like Woodrow.
correct?
Well,
Because
yes,
you can't host a regional meet
that is
unless
correct.
you have the extra 2 lanes.
That is correct.
But I
So-
think it was like 400 and some thousand more
Yes, so-
dollars.
Yeah.
So we
to add
asked,
the 2 lanes.
yes, ma'am. We asked ATC to come back, and in an effort to provide the most accurate information for this meeting today, they did come back, and actually we got the additional quote yesterday about 2:00, and it is to add 2 additional lanes would be over $400,000.
More dollars.
More dollars, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is you know, a lot of money.
It is.
But it does allow them to host regional events and stuff of that nature. So as of right now, so when it comes time to run in the postseason, Independence, Liberty, and Shady, they would never have the ability to host something because SSAC says you have to have 8 lanes, and those 3 tracks have 6.
And probably that's the most active track program in the county. Shady, I would say, not to a
Yes.
certain, Woodrow's, but if you really look at track, it's not really a big thing at Wood, or at Independence, not a big thing at Liberty, but Shady it is.
Yeah, so I think I'm correct in saying this. So the 4A regional track meet this year, I think, is at Lately. The 3A regional track meet is at Herbert Hoover. So obviously, Woodrow and Shea will be on the road. And then Woodrow Wilson is hosting the single A and double A for this area.
Right.
But in the past, Woodrow has hosted, pretty much a lot of them. With the SSAC, though, they like to try to spread out regional postseason events for regional representation. But yes, it would give you the ability to host regional events, have larger events. Obviously, with more lanes, you can have bigger track meets during the season, more people, the stuff of that
It used
nature.
to be that Woodrow and Oak Hill were the only ones in the area that were able to do the only one having lanes to do it.
Correct. I mean, there's not, every school does not have 8 lanes. Every school does not have 8 lanes, and some schools have have done the additional add-ons. One that comes in mind that when you think of a bigger school is Bridgeport. Our Bridgeport High School one time was 6 lanes, and they've added 2 to get to 8 lanes to have the capability of what we're talking about. And you can tell it's an add-on because when you're in the stadium and you're sitting in the bleachers, you can almost reach out and touch the guy running or the female running in the 8th lane. But that's the reason they did that.
I was my concern, Shay, is there, will that's gonna be tight out there?
Yes, yes.
That's a good question, 'cause I've been thinking in my head.
But did not have to rip out the new bleachers and move them back?
So not completely. So in each lane, you're talking about 3.5 feet. So for 2 lanes, obviously you have to have 7 feet. And then it's recommended, not required, that you have a 3-foot buffer from the 8th lane to the fence. And to be honest, we probably don't have that 3-foot buffer maybe at a lot of our tracks, and probably not a lot of tracks in the state of West Virginia. The reason you want that buffer, if a kid's jumping a hurdle in the 8th lane and they fall, you don't want them hitting the fence right there. So with that said, you would have to, let's talk about the visitor side first. The entryway into the middle of the bleachers, you would have to remove that, the entryway. So you would only enter the visitor bleachers from the 2 ends. You would have to take out some concrete and to widen that out. And if you think about all your tracks, they have a walking path that's paved to get to your bleachers on the outside of the 4-foot fence. You would have to put that back. Then on the home side, ADA ramp and part of the bleachers, it's currently is when we put in, it's a little bit wider than it needs to be, or is required to be. Let's say it like that. So you would have to move that back about a foot, or take about a foot off of that. Correct.
We just put that in, didn't we?
Correct. But what we wanted to do, this has been an LSIC request of the school for many years, not just this year. And we wanted to do our best effort to give choices, you know what I mean? To see, to actually, I don't think, to my knowledge, it's never been priced out to see, hey, what does it cost or what does it look like to do 8 lanes? So we did that.
Sad thing is, we probably should have costed and planned for it before we did the bleacher upgrades.
Hindsight, that would have been.
Yeah, I mean, that's just,
yeah.
it's perfect, hindsight's always perfect.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we thought we were gonna go that way.
So based upon the quote we received yesterday, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 6-lane track would be $774,847, but then the alternate for the fencing, upgrade outer boundary fencing, would be $155,845. So that new total is $930,692. Now the expansion to an 8-lane track adds an additional $492,845, a grand total of $1,423,537.
My mom used to say 4 people got 4 ways.
And I think
I guess, I just don't know if she could spend that this time. I mean, it'd be great, I mean, it'd be perfect, I mean, wonderful, I'm not gonna get them. But we did guarantee him a new track, and I think we filled that part of it. The 2-lane part, I just don't know, unless somebody comes in with a lot of cash.
it's about $500,000.
Yeah.
I think I said 4 earlier,
So
but it's
we barely say it's like no
$492.
money.
Yeah, yeah. You know, at face value, when you say it, you think, well, all I need is 7 feet,
Yeah.
2 lanes, and just add 2 lanes. Well, there's a lot that goes into that. The bleachers, something that we didn't even think about until we got out on the property is the flagpole. The flagpole would have to be moved, and you don't think about it. You think, well, that's trivial, or that's small, but those are still things that add up the price, if that makes sense.
Well, I looked years ago, not this track replacement, but the track replacement before at Liberty. There's no way. We're right against the bank.
You're right.
Because I thought, well, we can make this thing so we can hold some beats here. My son was going to say, yeah, that'd be great. The site just doesn't accommodate it because of the way it was built and everything else. You know, it'd been a major construction project to try to do that. And that's the second. actually, probably the school would be, had the most room would be Independence, but, you know. what-
Right.
but, you know.
Mr. Snuffer, you spoke at the board meeting on Monday night about how aesthetically pleasing the finishing out the finished product of the fencing.
Right.
Out at Shady, their fencing needs a lot of TLC too.
Yeah, yeah.
When you're talking about the fencing that goes around the football stadium. Now on the front end to where you go into the school, that's a new gate that was put in the renovation job. And then on the back end, leaving the senior parking lot, that gate, that's new. But they still have the old rusted out barbed wire and rusted out fence on the back side of the stadium too.
Right,
Shady Spring Middle, walk-in cooler and freezer repair, 70,000. Camera server replacement, 16,000. New science tables, we'll fund that out of step 7. Special programs, that's the other elevator replacement, 250,000. Exterior sign, 5,400. Stanford rekeying the building, that's our second rekeying job, 15,000. And what you see there under superintendent for staffing costs, security gates, and TJICs, that's the annual costs on our badge system and our open gate system, and also the training for the staff and staffing those gates for next year. Technology, and most of this stuff is ongoing as well. Jot form,
back on the open gates, just real quick. I know we bring in the kids in the morning, we go through the system and stuff. What's our, maybe we don't even have a policy. What do we do about special events? Like, you go to a concert or a school, you're doing something. Do we use, or possibly, do we tell them to utilize those things at those events, or that just kind of, we just do it in the morning time? I just wondered about that.
So that's a good question. So this year we attempted to start small and then to branch out. And the expectation was for the schools to screen every child that comes to school, whether it's at 7 o'clock or 9:30, whatever time it is. We did think further down the road, we brought wheels or the ability to make the gates mobile to take them to games and whatnot. So we do have that capability. I would see us probably doing more of that moving forward. We have told the schools they have the ability to do that if they wanted to. To my knowledge, I don't think they've screened any games or whatnot. If you remember back last year at Woodrow Wilson's graduation, we had a situation. So Woodrow has reached out to my office to say, hey, I think we're looking at possibly having the open gates at our graduation this year. But to my knowledge, schools haven't really used them for ball games or stuff yet, but you can.
Because, I mean, I see maybe as much or more potential at some sporting events, like a basketball game or something.
Correct.
Does someone bringing in something, not a student so much as maybe a past
Adult.
graduate or older, that's what we
Right.
had there, situation, and,
Right.
so.
And I said wheels, I misspoke. Suction cups.
I got you.
So outside, when you're out in the elements,
Uh-huh.
you have to make the system more stable.
Right,
So we did go through the process of supplying each school with that ability to make it more stable in a situation like that. But I think we can progress to that.
yeah, I mean, that'd be something maybe, and I know schools are hard to get staff for after school events. So you got so many staff that I totally understand that. But from a security standpoint, I've been to a few games that some pretty rowdy people there that I would like to know what they had on their person.
Right.
You
So
know,
throughout this past school year, some schools have had the conversation with me. Hey, Mr. Dillon, I think we're going to use the weapons detection system for this upcoming game.
right,
They had the thought of it, but I don't think they've followed through.
Okay.
And I don't mean that in a negative way
Exactly.
about the school,
right.
but that conversation is being had.
Okay, I just curious, because that, to me, we bought those, that was one of the things we talked about, maybe in the future we could do, and I just wonder if anybody had done it yet. But
Continuing with technology, door lock replacement parts, 30,000. Managed methods, that's paid out of Title IV, 38,000. Replacement cameras, 20,000. New cameras, 40,000, that's paid out of Safe Schools levy. Apple hardware is needed, that's paid out TFS, 80,000. VMware, 35,000, that's also paid out of, and TFS is Tools for Schools, that's a state grant program. Battery backups, 100,000, that's paid out TFS. Promethean boards, 15 of them, 90,000, that's paid out of TFS. Incident IQ, that's our asset management and forms management system, 40,000, that's an ongoing cost. Innovation teams training, 5,000, that's paid out of Title II. STEM training for the elementary, 5,000, that's paid out of Title II. Intercoms, 50,000. We've ran into a problem with somewhat with Centegix, some of our older intercoms interfacing properly, so we're starting to go down the road of trying to replace some of these really, really old intercom systems. So Schoolology, 68,000. E-rate service fee, 25,000. That's ongoing. That's actually paid out of our E-rate fee. Parts, devices, and cables for technology equipment, 40,000. That's paid out of our technology repair account, as is our warranty costs. Seesaw, 26,000. That's paid out of Step 7 technology. This ISE 3-year Centegix and network control over cyber security. That's a replacement for Secure W2. That's paid out TFS. Apogee, 48,000. That's ongoing. Droplet is 40,000, ongoing. The next one is we have a request to move one of the computer techs that's currently employed by the RCSD over to Raleigh. We've done that in the past when the tech has met all their certification requirements to be a computer tech for Raleigh County Schools. The additional cost of the county is $5,800. Transportation, this is the last fuel tank replacement, so it's at Coal City. It's 29 years old. The DEP is recommending that. As you remember, 3-4 years ago, we did the other two, so at Liberty and at the main transportation complex. So this is the last one. The request was for 800, but actually for the smaller tanks, I think 350,000 would replace it. A new vehicle for transportation. We've quoted a 1500 series vehicle, not a Tahoe. So, and then the routing software and time clocks. That is to replace the old Zonar system we've had with a more robust system that not only does the same thing that Zonar did, but it also helps us with our routing and also interfaces the time clocks into Chronos. So it'll go to a Android device, I believe.
And the routing piece was part of the piece that was from the transportation study.
Yeah.
That, going to more of a modern software kind of thing. So if a sub's on a bus, they're not literally asking the kid in the front seat, now where do I stop at? You know what I mean?
Right.
They have the.
Tells them.
And transportation costs are a little different than other costs incurred in the district in that we do get reimbursement for a lot of those costs. So. Trap Hill Middle, LED lighting in the halls and library, 7,500. Desks for the remaining classrooms, we're currently looking at that now. So Woodrow Wilson, 3-door reach-in freezer, 10,000. That'd be child nutrition. LED lighting in the wrestling building, 4,000, and LED lighting in the field house, 6,000, and a new sound system in the gym for 45,000.
Mr. Richard, if I may, just so I don't forget it, I know that technology was hoping to do 3-year contracts, but that bill failed, or it didn't pass, let me say it that way. So that Centegic's network control cybersecurity, it says 3-year, it would only be
1 year.
1
Yeah, we
year.
can't
I
do
just
a
wanna
3-year.
make sure
Right.
we note that. I didn't catch that yesterday, apologize.
The rest, I always give you the opportunity to go through the items, the 2s and the 3s, and see if there's any of those that you would like us to change the priority on. And as I said, the priority 4s are items that we are currently working on to complete this fiscal year. So I'll give you a moment to go
Right
down.
back to
through.
the elementary, it says assistant principal's office window. I mean, that's exterior window?
They want
They
it.
want a window.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's an extra, to see outside?
Yeah, so her office, her office right now is in front of the building. So, if I'm thinking correctly, I'm pretty sure I am. It would be to see outside. You could see the, parent pickup or bus flow, that kind of stuff.
Because it wasn't built as an assistant principal, so
Uh-huh.
it was built as a conference room.
You're
or something
correct.
originally.
You're correct.
So
That's
then the
where,
thing, okay.
Miss Wright is. She's in a conference.
What would it cost for a window like that go? We got, it's gonna be, the window's not gonna be the bad, it's gonna be sawing out the or the brick and all the stuff like that.
Exactly.
We can cost it. I mean,
I'm just curious, I mean, and I'd put that under safety instead of under building. I mean, really, that's what she would want it for, because to have, observation of the thing, but.
Do we need to replace the transportation director's vehicle?
Well, we are going to replace the transportation director's
I see
vehicle.
that on there.
We're
Do
just,
we need to do that?
yes. Well, we need to replace a transportation vehicle. So the plan is to get the director a new vehicle. His vehicle will go down to the assistant director, is my understanding.
that's normal.
Yeah.
What is it currently,
What is what currently?
the vehicle currently?
It's a, it's not an S10. Well, it's about the size of an S10. It's not it's a smaller size pickup.
If I remember correctly, is it not rusting,
Yes, there,
the truck?
There's a
It's
need to replace
Yeah.
it.
yeah, there's a need to replace a vehicle
Yeah.
there, and
Well, I
so,
know that falls under transportation, where you gonna get 80% back.
90,
Is it 90 something?
yeah,
Okay,
85 to 90 is,
um,
245.
is the amount. The truck, there's a truck that's being replaced, and if I remember correctly, there's a rusting issue underneath.
Yes.
Is that the one? We have a multiple vehicles, but is that the one that won't pass inspection?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time when we get these requests, it's because the vehicle won't pass.
Inspection, that's what I think this one
Yeah.
is.
Eric, here at Liberty, where it says, 2 football scoreboards, it says $20,000 electrical. Is that just, I mean, scoreboards are gonna cost a lot more than that. I guess you're getting those donated or something. That's just the wiring for us to run wire out to them, or what is that?
That was, I said, has Mr. Daniels' name through it, so I'm assuming that's something that our electricians have identified.
Yeah, identified a problem there.
Yes.
When he says 2 scoreboards, I wonder if that or if that's the clocks, those 35-second clocks. I mean, when it says 2, most of them don't have 2 scoreboards. That's the reason
I would say that you are probably going down the right path. It's probably the play clocks.
that's what I'm thinking, probably the play clocks. Yeah, okay.
Let me check on that. Is that what you were talking about? Were you talking about that or not? I heard you saying something.
Because if it is, that's something they kinda gotta have to
Correct.
play.
Oh, I don't think this is a situation where Mr. Daniels felt like it was just like dire. We had to have it. That's why it's.
It's not, it's just something that's good to have, they're
Yeah.
actually still working.
Yeah.
That's when they weren't working,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It wasn't a situation where it was an emergency.
It's almost mind-boggling to look at all the requests. I mean, really,
If you go over to the last page, you
that
can
there's
see.
no money to fund those requests.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. that's-
I mean, just look
Yeah,
at it,
sure.
it's overwhelming.
If you go over to the last page, you can see there's over $67 million of budget requests.
Oh, there you go.
So we're funding, well, if we do the carryover of the track and shady, and the 7.8 million, we would be actually be funding almost 13% of the requests. Typically, in the past, we've seen 25% or higher. So, as we hit
Barely even
more
10.
fiscal challenges, you're gonna start seeing the percentages of what we're being able to fund, are the needs in the district.
And that's not saying that some of these things listed are not
No, they're-
needs,
Yeah.
Yes.
but it's kind of a sad situation, isn't it? That
Well,
Some of them are wants, some of them are needs, but there's still a lot of
Yeah.
needs.
there are still a lot of needs.
And,
And honestly, it's still staggering when you look at the dollar amounts of what we are able
to do.
to fund.
Yeah,
It's
we're
still
funding-
I'm surprised we can do that
Yeah.
much.
So,
Back to the truck
Yes,
at $55,000. We just purchased an F-250, and you're looking at a 1,500 for $54,000.
so this is with the fiberglass topper and cargo slide.
And running boards on
Yeah.
ours.
And we purchased these out of New Mexico.
Well, ours came out of Ohio.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're talking a 250 versus a 1,500. It's quite a bit cheaper.
Yeah, we'll look at
Four-wheel
that.
drive,
Now,
double cab.
if you look at the maintenance requests,
We have to bid those out, don't we?
This was transportation.
I know, but I'm trying to compare.
Oh.
She's going, a 350 is 70,000 for a 350. You're saying 55 for a 250, and then this is 51 for a 1,500 is what the,
Well, it says $5,500 here for.
what's 55, but that includes the topper and the
Well,
cargo
but
slide.
what I'm saying we can get a better price. Is what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
and we'll certainly look for a better price. This is just the budgeted estimates.
Don't we have to
Once
bid,
we
don't
go-
we have to bid those?
Yeah, once we go and we'll get quotes and things. This is just something to set aside some cost for the budget, so. We're not under the same requirements for 3 quotes and things for this
I have
process.
a question on increased stipend for academic coaches to match TIS and special ed. Are they not being paid the same, and why would they not have been paid the same? Is their contract term the same?
Yes, they have the same days. It's the supplement. It's not the same.
There-
Why would it not be the same?
I'm not sure.
What was it?
I don't know why it wasn't, but it's not. So that's been the request to make them even. Back on the truck, I did confirm with Chris that it is an F-250 that was rusted and won't pass inspection.
But you're replacing it with 1,500.
He said I'd be replacing it with a Dodge 2500.
Which is the same.
Oh, okay. I
That's
don't
the
know all
same
I'm
thing.
sorry, I don't know all the truck lingo.
2,500,
And
250, and the things are all, anytime it's got a 2, that's 3/4 ton.
Well, we had said-
1's a half ton, 3's a.
We had said 1,500 in the meeting just because this is the director's truck. This isn't a truck that is heavy duty. We don't need a heavy duty pickup truck for
Right.
So 25.
a 1,500. A 1,500 would meet our need, and we'll certainly get a better price.
Right.
I mean, this is just,
Let me ask you this, I mean, you didn't say anything in this stuff, but, being the wise financial expert I am, I just filled my diesel tank at the farm. Why I didn't do that a month ago, I have no idea, because I wanted to spend a lot more money. That's gotta affect us too.
Yes. So in the budget, I always, hedge price and I hedge quantity,
Yeah,
so that we're able to meet whatever the price becomes, we're able to meet it.
yeah, because,
And yes, that is, I mean,
diesel,
yeah, it's going through the roof.
in proportional, the gases went up, the diesels really went up.
Yeah,
And it's gonna cost me almost a third more to fill my tank, my bulk tank, than it did in January.
yeah, and I'll talk more about, inflationary pressures when I give the budget presentation, in a couple of weeks, but just in one area, as I told you, Brim, our FY '26 premiums, 1,626,000. Our FY '27 premium is 1,891,000. So a $265,000 increase just in insurance premiums at 16.31%, and we're actually probably one of the lucky ones.
It's
in the
amazing, we
state,
worked
so.
hard so much to get those down, got them down, turned right around and skyrocket back up the other way.
Yeah.
And it's basically.
Well, I mean, our workers'
and the
comp-
crazy thing is, well,
Our workers' comp is trending down.
all right,
So that's,
That's
you know,
good.
that'll help offset some of this
Yeah.
increase, but, certainly inflationary pressures, everybody's feeling them and everybody's passing them on, so.
and
we're feeling them.
I know there's a bunch of law, or bills and stuff, felt to, but basically Brim's the only insurance for us, right? Like,
Yes.
we can't go out.
There's been some attempts at legislation to, allow counties
I know there was,
to
yeah.
negotiate, their premiums with other carriers. That may get movement
Yeah.
based on what's happening now with Brim, so.
Of course, we're a county, they're probably not gonna get, these special ed things are gonna really, the cameras in special ed classrooms has caused the big claims, which, it should, but, so, they
Yes.
pay a lot of money.
Over in section 8,
Just real quick, Mr. Snuffer, your question about the Liberty scoreboards, that is the actual scoreboards.
Oh, it is a
And
score.
on page 100 in section 6, it talks about the current scoreboards are 30 years old and no longer, you can no longer find the parts for. I did confirm that, Mr. Daniel.
They have
That's the
two,
actual scoreboard.
I'm trying to think of football, I don't think the football has two,
Well, that was my last question too, was do we have 2 scoreboards at Liberty High School?
right,
That's a
I'm
good
just
question.
thinking,
I'll
well, we
let
don't
you-
have,
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
on 2 separate fields, I don't know.
and, it could, yeah, I
It
just
does
think.
make sense to have 2. You usually
No,
don't have 2 at a
Nobody has, the other thing is Liberty's scoreboard, we do put a new scoreboard in there. We need to raise it. David, and it was opposite, we put the bleachers in the end zone down there. And it's kind of blocks your view of the scoreboard. For to be able to host events, so we need to raise our scoreboard down a little higher.
I'll get clarification.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I'm sorry, if y'all needed more time to look at the 2s and 3s, I mean, I can certainly.
Well, I look like what my kids used to give me for Christmas lists for what they wanted for Christmas. Then Santa Claus had to go back through it and just go and say, oh, no, we're not doing that this year, kids. But it is right, Mr. Butcher, that it is amazing how much we are able to fund and keep stuff. And the most important thing, and I salute you and the rest of the staff, you gotta take care of roofs, and you gotta take care of HVAC. Other stuff, they are needs, but maybe not as high need as those things are, because if you don't have those, your other assets are deteriorating. Because
Well,
you're
if
not
you
taking
get
care of it.
behind on them, then
Yeah.
you're in a position where you can't possibly
Yeah,
catch
you
up,
get-
especially today. I mean, used to, if you didn't do a roof, you could catch up. You don't have the ability to do that now, so.
The problems with roofs and HVAC though, they're so pricey, as Mr.
Oh,
Butcher said,
yeah.
but they're things no one cares about.
No, no one
Until
sees
they're
it.
a problem.
Yeah.
Yes,
And so
exactly.
you can't get behind on them. I mean,
Right,
it's
yeah.
like money you're spending, but you don't see. You
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
visibly
yeah.
see.
Yeah, exactly. There's no pretty bells or whistles with them or anything else like that. There's no fancy stuff. It doesn't, don't walk into class or down the hallway in school and say, oh, boy, this has the best roof on it anywhere around.
Right, yeah,
Look how
that's right.
beautiful the HVAC is today. No, that's exactly right.
The problem too is the general public has no idea how we can fund these things when we cut other things.
Correct.
You know, and I don't know how you fix that. I mean, I don't know how you can explain it well
Yeah.
enough for them to.
Well, and in a moment, we'll get into a little bit of that in more detail to help probably clear some of that up. In section 8, the first handout in section 8, I won't go over. It's just an allocation to the schools. Those are the allocations out of the excess levy and also from program enhancement money in step 7. Attached to that is an enrollment history. That's depressing. And then enrollment by school. The second handout I do want to go over. It is the technology initiative, where we are currently and where we hope to be by the time at the end of 4 years. This is the first year of our refresh, so we'd have 3 more years remaining. I'm projecting that we would have about $12.2 million set aside for technology refresh. And that would be more than sufficient unless, I mean, chips right now are, the cost of chips and technology equipment because of data centers is skyrocketing. So we hope that we're able to meet any need there. The last
Before you move from that, a lot of the things that I'm reading and seeing, school districts across the country are kind of pulling back from some of that
Some of that they
technology
are,
stuff.
yes.
Because there's all this stuff out there that's saying it's not really good for kids, that teachers are relying too much on the technology and not teaching. They're contributing some of the technology to a drop in test scores. I mean, all of it. So I don't know. I know that we're into this, but maybe at some point we need to kind of take a look and say, are we doing enough? Are we doing too much? I mean, where are we?
Well,
Because really
you've got two different facets. You've got that, and then I think you guys were in the AI lesson
Yeah.
we went to the conference. You have the other where they're actually using AI actively in classrooms. Students are using AI to help them develop things and everything else. My son was just talking about, he's pretty well up in the Farm Credit Virginias, how they've went in as a business full in AI now, and their business model and how AI is working with them and doing processing and stuff. So
I think the balance is you incorporate that into your teaching, but you don't have technology doing the teaching and the teacher not teaching. Does that make sense? What I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah,
it is.
Maybe they went back to where the teacher was the facilitator. I mean, but we need to, my personal opinion, we kind of need to move away from that. I think they need to be more than a facilitator.
So this funding, I mean, regardless of what choice of technology we make, we would have, I mean, let's say we did over the next 3 years, adopt some AI systems or into curriculum and things. I think this funding would allow us the opportunity to pivot some if need be.
Right.
There is some funding there that we could pivot and do whatever we needed to do. So the last handout in section 8 is the food service. So based on the budget for next year, if you look down at the bottom of the page, you'll see a line for sponsors contribution. That is the amount that the district would be contributing to the child nutrition program. That is up about $300,000 from this year to up to $2,080,000. This year we're around 1.7 million. You know, food costs is no different than any other cost. We continue to see rapid rise in food costs. I think Maldi has done a really good job of looking at ways to try to mitigate some of that, and she's got some strategies and plans that hopefully will kind of keep it around that amount. I don't think you're going to see the days where 1.5 million or 1.3 million for child nutrition is what we can expect. I mean, it's so dependent on the federal reimbursements now, and then as I said, food costs are just crazy, so. And that contributes a lot back to fertilizer and other farming needs,
All,
so,
all
you
prices
know,
are up.
everything,
I
everything's
mean,
up,
it's
so.
good and stuff, but yeah.
You know, we still don't have a lot of kids. I mean, yeah, I've seen half of a class. boxes.
Yeah, I mean, and,
I mean, really, they don't. I mean,
Well, they don't.
well, it's not even so much that sometimes, like my daughter has sensory issues, and there's only certain foods she will eat. So, in those instances, the only options for the child to bring lunch, to school, or they just don't eat, so.
Well, I mean, my son, he takes his lunch every day and then still eats, sometimes he still eats the school lunch because he just says it's not enough. It's not enough to fill him up, so he has to have 2 lunches.
Now, I was in a school where I'd say at least half of the kids had a lunchbox, but when they went to the lunchroom, they had them take a tray also. And I questioned and said, they brought their lunch, why are they taking a tray? And I'm not going to say what school it was, but they said, well, it's in case they want something or to expose them, to try to get them to eat some different things. So,
Yeah, because even
I
if
don't
you
know.
take just a milk, you have to take the lunch,
So-
so.
Yeah, well, kids are so picky. I mean, you know, when I grew up, it was on your plate, and if you want to eat today, that's what you ate. If you didn't, you went hungry. I mean, my daggone kids will fix 3 different meals for my grandkids. I'm like, give me a break, because so and so don't like this don't like that, whatever. You know, it's just
We talk about additional costs that you probably don't think about. Giving the student the food that they don't eat drives up your cost on your garbage truck.
yeah, sure.
Because we have more garbage, more waste, and so then when we're getting it,
Yeah.
that's been a problem with the juice, the orange juice,
Right.
the food that's in the dumpster is now affecting your garbage truck. You know,
Oh, yeah.
there's cost to everything.
Everything, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
they able to do that. I used to have a guy when I was at Craft Hill that came and got our scraps every day and then. Big man. Yeah, he was a pig, he
Yep,
had a pig,
yep, yep,
and, food service put a stop to it.
yep.
And I see a pig get up and throw it away. Yeah. Well, and it saved on costs. Okay, federal regulation. She said it was, what? But I don't know that.
I think it was, because there were some major feeders in West Virginia, and even through the country, that fed school waste, the hogs or everything. Most of those went out of business, so it had to be something came down where they couldn't get the product. A lot of them, there was ones here in Raleigh County who got schools, got the hospitals, used to have a truck went around, got all this stuff, and those guys were all out of business.
I don't remember who the guy was that came from Craft Hill, but he was faithful. He was there every day at the exact time to get it. It wasn't a problem.
The handout you have in front of you is a certified list summary where I look at where we've been historically and then project where I think we will be in FY27. The top of the page is the professionals. In FY26, we're 80.42 positions over on professionals. I'm projecting that would go down to 55.8 for FY27. Down at the bottom of the page is service personnel. And service personnel, currently FY26, we're over 81.6 positions. I'm projecting 122.91 overage for FY27. That is projecting a 200 student decline in enrollment and using the state funding ratios to get those staffing totals.
That also includes the back out for the charter schools, right?
Yes, yes. So the average cost to fund those positions with fixed charges is about 9.3 million. So your next question may be, well, if this is 9.3 million, why are you only showing 6.5 million carryover need? Well, we're blessed in Raleigh County to have an increased tax base. And that tax base, the collections that we receive off of our regular and excess levy actually is masking the overall, how bad the problem is in Raleigh County. If we did not have those collections, that 6.5 million could be 14, 15 million. So that's how dire the personnel problem has gotten. And it's a combination of issues, right? I mean, it's a combination of declining enrollment. It's a combination of not getting enough funding for special needs students, which now in Raleigh County is 23% of our overall student population.
What percent?
23. So, and then you've got the thing that no one's talking about, which is increased inflationary pressures. No one really has talked about that, but it is creating a significant hardship on school boards. And then you couple that with Hope Scholarship. We have a lot of pressures on public education right now that's not easily corrected.
So I'll make sure I'm right. This 9.3 million overage, that's just from staffing?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm right on that. So that doesn't include the inflation and other stuff.
No,
That's just from the
that's
staffing
just the
problem.
staffing fee.
So we have 122.91, is that what?
Yes.
Service,
That's just service.
service. And then we have 50, almost
56.
56. I was okay, 56 on professional. That was all, that's projected for this year with the cuts that we made.
Yes.
Yes.
Make it clear, with the cuts we made, because we cut a lot of stuff. So if we're going to get anywhere close to that, let's say we even try to get that half. You know where I'm going. If you try to get, now I'm not saying correct, I'm saying just get it in half. You're talking about 26, 27 professional and about 100 or about 65 or so, 62, something like that, service. So that would be 80 some, almost 90 positions that we would have to look at next personnel season.
Easily.
Easily.
Now, I have a couple things I'd like to say, if I may. Mr. Butcher mentioned declining enrollment in special ed. So I started this process, and when I was talking to him, I said I was looking at our K-3 grade level, because we thought perhaps the Third Grade Success Act was causing this increase. I just want to share some figures with you, assuming I calculated it correctly. We've often talked about the buckets of kids that we get. We believe the way the funding formula is used, you take first grade and our enrollment in buckets of 25, and then that's how many teachers or aides we would receive for first grade, second grade, so forth. So if that's correct, then we're really not off too much in K-3. I'll just give you some general calculations for kindergarten. From what I see in our personnel records, we are funded for 34 and a half ECATs. We have 32, so we're not over. We're in fact under. In first grade, we're funded for 27.72 ECATs. We have 32, so we're over around 4. Second grade, we're funded for 28. We have 29. Third grade, we're funded for 28.12. We have 28. So those numbers, if I'm doing this correctly, the Third Grade Success Act has not hurt us terribly. Now I want to talk about pre-K. Because pre-K, it's an isolated grade level, unlike middle and high school and our special ed aids there. So pre-K was easy to do. So based on pre-K and 20, buckets of 20, from my calculations, we are over 6 teachers and we're over 17 ECATs in pre-K alone. 17. Again, this is all based on my general calculation, but this is, as I put this together, Shady Spring Elementary School should have 3 ECATs just based on numbers. It has 8. And those 5, I'm aware of those 5, they are tied to specific students in the pre-K program.
So they're actually special ed.
They're, well, I mean, we,
I know,
pre-K, yeah.
Okay.
So, yes, we have 5 extra in one school because of student need, IEPs, student need. At Ridgeview, we have, I call it the baby T4, we have that ABA program. But if, just saying it's just a regular pre-K classroom, we would have 3 ECATs. We have 6 at Ridgeview. Stratton, we're over 1. And several, and I say that one because that's also an ABA program. But at Crescent, we have an extra ECAT. At Hollywood, we have an extra ECAT in pre-K. So this was just an example of one grade level, special needs, we're over 17 ECATs.
17?
Based on my calculation, if I am doing this correctly,
Just
I think I
pre-K.
am. That's just pre-K. That's just pre-K. So if you want to, extrapolate that, and I'll be honest, I think Mr. Dillon and I are going to have to put our heads together. I want to do this same thing for middle school and high school, but it's more difficult to do for middle and high school. So we're going to have to figure out how to determine that. But that's it. I think this is just a good picture of it. It's this special needs population, or at least in pre-K, that's causing us to have 17 extra days. I
Let me ask you
don't mean that in a
this.
bad way. I mean, we
In
need to
pre-
provide support.
I thought in pre-K, we had the option to say that Charlotte goes to this school and Marie goes to that school. We don't have, we're gonna make you, if you want to go to pre-K, you have to go to wherever.
We do.
If you move some of this around, does that eliminate some of these 17?
No.
Because they're one-on-ones.
They're tied to kids.
They're tied, they're one-on-one with the
They're
kids.
tied to the kids.
So I was gonna say, if you had a school that had just most of those need kids, it wouldn't do away with a ECAT.
I don't believe so. In West Virginia, it is. We have universal pre-K. And we have to accept 3-year-olds with an IEP
Right,
the
right.
day they turn 3, if the
Right.
parents so choose. So that typically necessitates, not all, I shouldn't say typically, often though it can necessitate some additional support. But if it's if
The 3-year-olds?
yes, that is required in West Virginia. If they are 3 and have an IEP,
Correct.
we have to take them. So that was just an example.
Sure.
But Mr. Dillon and I and whomever else, we will work on middle and high school. But I just wanted to share that with you today. The other piece to that, I know it's kind of been an elephant in the room for a while, but I don't see any way of getting these numbers down if we don't start closing schools. I know that's not a topic that's not something we want to do in Raleigh County. I don't think we have any other option. I am prepared to come to you in the early fall with closure documents so that we could go through the closure process in the fall to be effective the 27-28 school year.
We'll have some workshops maybe during the summer, then we can look at those.
Sure, absolutely. We, I've not, the only closure process I've been involved with here in Raleigh County is the one when we built Ridgeview. So that was a different type of
Closure.
process. So I'm not certain of the process that you've used as a board when we were closing due to just needing to close a school for enrollment purposes. I'm happy to follow whatever process you would like, but obviously the process itself needs to conclude by December 31st, and I don't want to be right up against December 31st. I wouldn't think you want to either.
You wanna have hearings in December?
No, you don't. No,
So
we don't. Been there.
I would
Been there.
I would truly like to be ready when summer concludes,
Sure.
that we can schedule hearings and move forward. And I know as a board, you don't want to do this,
Well,
but
there's two things. It helps you on the staffing, maybe not even helps on the staffing as much as it will helps on the physical plant cost. Anytime, I mean, I hate to say it, anytime we can eliminate a structure, a facility. Mr. Rich, you can probably tell me, average what, $1 million or $2 million for each structure?
Well, I mean, it depends on the size. You get into elementary, it'll be, of course, it'll be less, but I think anything you can do to mitigate your maintenance and building.
Well, you got
Costs.
your recurring costs of your utilities, all those the physical plan of keeping the maintenance, the work we're doing here and stuff. It's just a lot of money that cost in that.
Yeah.
At the very least, it eliminates the need for roof jobs or HVAC.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Which is so pricey, we talked
Yeah,
about.
which was talked about. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if I was doing the math quickly as she was doing that, I may be off a little bit. But what she just spoke to you about, you're over about 3 or 4 maybe in grades 1 through 3.
Right.
You're over 17 in pre-K.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I was doing the over and under as she was
yeah.
doing it mathematically in my head real fast.
Yeah.
I think you're maybe over 3 or 4 grades 1 through 3. You're over 17 in pre-K.
Let me ask a question. This is in my mind. Okay, I have a 1-on-1 aide and I'm in pre-K. When I become first grade, I don't keep that 1-on-1 aide.
you may. It's dependent upon that IEP and what's in the
okay.
IEP.
'Cause-
Principal chairs that IEP committee.
Especially if that's a 3-year-old and maybe that really had problems, and so as they get older, they're able to function more by themselves.
One thing I'd also say, for pre-K, we are limited. I mentioned the ABA classrooms earlier. So for students who need more intensive support, for various reasons, we may have them in the ABA program, and it's a low staffing ratio, just like T4. But we can only have 3. We have 2 ABA, and then we have I'll call it more of like maybe like behavior at another school, and we can only have 3 of those in the county. For the annual desk audit that Special Programs has to do, there are these percentages you have to meet, and our percentage that we have to meet for separate pre-K classrooms, we are limited to these 3 classrooms. And when that happens, students still have to be placed in a pre-K classroom, but often necessitate this extra staff to support them in the regular pre-K classroom as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
that does. Yeah.
So it's just, certainly as superintendent,
Well,
I want to meet the needs of every
I would
child,
hope that,
but staffing certainly is.
We would share those, it's probably too late, but that they care. But those figures need to be shared with our local representation. We had a bill in there to do it.
I intend to.
I mean, the special, I mean, you take that special ed, those 17 out there that we're not funded for, but, if we were funded for those, or even half funded, even if they gave us a position and a half,
It would help.
it would help.
And just, I didn't do this K3 for teachers. I will. But I decided to look at 4-5, just the teachers. So, we don't have ECATs in 4th, 5th grade. So as you know, we've done a lot of work with split grades over the last couple of years. And even with that, well, I mean, we're closer. In fourth grade, again, assuming all my calculations are correct, I believe we should be funded for about 29 and a half fourth grade teachers. And we have 31 and a half. So we're over 2.
Yeah.
And then the same with fifth, 27 and a quarter teachers, and we have 30. So I understand that every little bit is adding up to this 55 teachers that we're over, but it's not 17.
Right.
Just thinking the numbers really.
Well, that
are
number kind of
telling.
slaps you in the face right there. I mean,
And even with pre-K, the teachers were 6 over. So when we look at our grade levels for the fifth grade, we're not 6 over, but we're 6 over and 17 over in pre-K.
that's something that would, if you tried to max out those pre-K classrooms to the 20,
They're pretty much maxed out, but they're,
well, then how would you
I
get
mean,
6 over?
it's not, they're not fully maxed, and 2 that would affect us are the ABA programs,
Okay.
because they're very low ratio. So
I see.
the Stratton and the Ridgeview, that's contributing to that extra 6. But then take Clear Fork. Clear Fork only has 12 pre-K students, so
Yeah,
they
okay.
could have 8 more.
So,
Marsh Fork's at 20. Mascot only has 15. So they're not full. And so when you just add those, because like we say, our students don't come in nice little buckets of 20.
yeah. And I will say this on the Clear Fork thing, and it wasn't funny. It was kind of, that, I know someone that wanted to get into pre-K at a certain school, and the school was full, and they said, well, we have openings at Clear Fork. So they said, do you want me to try? I'm like, hey, that's where
That's what we
the
have.
opening's at, you know? I mean, so they didn't make us bump up another one. Our staff held them pretty close where we were full.
I'll use this as an example for Stratton, because we have the regular pre-K or the traditional pre-K, and then we have an ABA.
Uh-huh.
So if you just, on the surface, we could have 40 pre-K students with 2 teachers. We have 23 because of that ABA being small.
Yeah.
So anyway,
The next information in front of you is a fund balance analysis. And I know there's a lot of questions that come up about, well, how come you are over so much here, but you have all this money for buildings and stuff? If you remember several years ago, when I first started in the county, one of the first things I asked the board to do was allow the opportunity to build contingency reserves for a number of years. And that's what we did. And those reserves, that's what I tell people all the time, that once you build the contingency reserves, it allows you to do so many other things in your district, because any excess funding then can be dedicated and put aside to fund major improvements. In Raleigh County, we have 30-some buildings that we have to maintain. And that requires a lot of effort and a lot of resources. But in front of you is the fund balance analysis. And if you look at the top of the page, you can see that from FY24 to FY25, Raleigh County's fund balance went from 92.2 million to 88.8 million. And you can say, wow, that's terrible. However, if you look at the unassigned fund balance, it actually went up. It went from 28 million to 33 million. So that's a $4.5 million increase, 21%. As a percentage of general fund revenues, that's about 18.72%. So we've maintained those contingency reserves. And when we're budgeting, we budget 100% of staffing. And we don't ever hit that, although substitute costs really eat into any excess there. But you never hit that. But by having your contingency reserves where you need them, you're not putting $24 million into contingency reserves. You're actually putting maybe $1 million or 2 million, because it's a percentage of expenditures that you're putting in. So any excess historically in the county, we have set aside for building projects, building needs. Now, that's not to say we don't have general fund things that come up that we set aside funds for in the general fund. But for the main part, we set those funds aside, and it gives us a lot of matching funds when we do building projects. You look at Woodrow Wilson, for instance. You know, most of the projects that we do in Raleigh County, we haven't ran a bond levy since 2009 when I got here. And that's what allows us the opportunity to not go to the taxpayers and say, hey, you know, we want to run a bond levy. And we've been very good stewards of those funds. And it has resulted in hundreds of millions of dollars of savings to taxpayers in the county. So I know people question that, but the return on our money is almost 50-50. So for every 50 cents we go to the SBA with, they give us another 50 cents historically in building funds.
I can't say this for a fact, but I think I am right. There's not another county in the state that has did the fiscal improvements that we have done over the last 15 years or so without a levy, without a bond.
I would dare say that is true.
Yeah, we've built new schools. We've done major renovations, are doing major renovations right now on other schools that, you know, and that's because we've always went to the school building authority and other people with money in hand and been willing to fund 50% or so of a project. And it only makes our money go farther, makes their money go farther.
Correct.
And I think it's the county's been fortunate to be able to do that, and staff here has been very prudent in doing that and be able to leverage those monies to double it. So if we did $100 million of our money, we got $200 million in return.
Yeah, that's correct. And if you look at the Standard & Poor's, and I talk about this when I do the financial report every year, very strong is for bond rating purposes, contingency reserves above 15% are considered very strong. And at 6/30 of 25, our contingency reserves were 15.03%. So that puts us in a very strong category. And you wonder why it's so close to 15. Well, I make it that way. I don't want to put any more money in reserves than we have to, right? So we try to keep it around that percentage. And at 4/30 of 26, you can see those reserves are a little over 17%. And why is that? Well, that's tax collections, mainly, increase in tax collections. So if you had to reduce contingency reserves to fund building projects, and I'll show you a scale there of 5 to 50% of how much you would have to reduce reserves to fund building projects. And we haven't hit that mark in Raleigh County yet, thank goodness. I hope we don't. But it is because we built those reserves years ago is what I'm getting at. If we had not built those reserves years ago, we would find ourselves in a totally different situation than we find ourselves in today, where we are able to pivot to meet short-term funding issues while it gives us time as a district to right-size staffing in other areas. So that's a good thing.
However, I will make a statement, and I think Charlotte will agree with me. Well, she may not. I think she would. She doesn't want to agree with me very much. Didn't want to agree with me too much. She starts agreeing with me very much. It got to bother her. She thinks, man, something's wrong. If you do not correct your overage in staffing, it will slowly but surely delete this balance and put you in a red situation.
Well, you look at just next year. Right off the top, if there is any excess funding, right off the top, I have to take $6.5 million and set it aside. I can't use it for anything else because I have to balance the budget. So that severely will impact the amount of money that we're able to set aside for new roofs, or set aside for maybe future matches on projects that maybe we would like to do in the future. So everything has a cost, right?
Right.
And, where districts get into problems is when they don't have any reserves and they end up in the situation where we are with funding. And then they don't have the ability to pivot to meet that need. They don't have the time to fix it before it's too late. And I think that's evident in what happened in Hancock County. It's what happened in Boone County a few years ago. So having those reserves on hand, while it's nice to have, we have to also monitor and make sure that we're doing the right things so we're not reducing those reserves.
Well, just from a standpoint, was quoted here that, Charlotte said, look how much we did, but look how many needs we have out there. What if you had another $6.5 million? How much farther do you come down that list?
Correct. Yes.
I mean, how many more things are you able to address?
Yeah.
The people needs as they want. And that's the thing that people understand is, to be able to address those needs, we have to keep our house in order for our staffing goes.
Correct. The last sheet I'll leave you with today, and I give this to you every year, it's a permanent improvement capital project fund analysis. It kind of looks at the next 5 years. Based on, this assumes that we would be able to carry over $3.5 million a year. Historically, we've been able to carry over more. I use that as a very conservative estimate. But you can see in FY '26, we're currently 43.5 million in total funds. Now, of course, the majority of those are for the Woodrow and Park projects, as well as the HVAC replacement at ACT that's getting ready to start. But we have 43.5 million as of the end of April. And then I'll look through FY '27. You can kind of see how that funding is being spent on playgrounds at Daniels, Hollywood, Crescent, and the pre-K at Daniels, finishing those projects up. The track replacement at Independence, the tennis court rehab at Independence and Shady, a roof replacement at Stanford. Then we get into the capital projects. So phase 1, which is a park gym replacement, 1.3. Woodrow Wilson, I think we're projecting 35% complete next school year. And you see how that project is phasing through to 29. And then the second phase of park, 1.5 for the parking and old gym demo. HVAC replacement at ACT, 4.3 million, and roof replacement at Liberty, 1.7 million. Of course, we hope to have $3.5 million carryover, and then the other projects, we set aside funding every year for new playground improvements, turf replacement, and then down at the bottom you can see the roof replacement at Independence. You're only seeing $800,000 of that cost here because we do have $1 million through the excess levy. So that's a total $1.8 million project. And then $886,000 for Shady Springs. So at the end of next fiscal year, your fund balance drops to about 24 million. And then in 28, we would complete Woodrow. We have an HVAC completion that we'll probably have to do on the auditorium. And then a roof replacement at Shady Spring, as I said, that's $3.5 million. So we go down to 7 million in 28. In 29, we drop to 5 million as we finish Woodrow and if we did the warehouse freezer addition. And then in 2030, so that drop us to 5.2 million. And then in 2030, we would try to do the E-wing building renovations. That would be after the Woodrow project's complete. We would come back the following year and work on E-wing. And then I've put in just a placeholder for some roofing replacement costs. And so that takes us to 3.4 million. And then in 2031, of course, we would have to take money out of contingency reserves to complete those projects. I don't foresee that being necessary because, as I said, we don't ever hit 100% of our projected costs, in the district, so I would expect we to have a higher carryover through some of those years, and 3.5 million that would help us fix that deficit, and while maintaining our contingency reserves.
Second page here, I look at that.
Yes, the second page is a summary of, at the end of the 5 years, what have you accomplished? Well, you've accomplished 42.3 million of school construction.
Well, that Beckley Elementary new gym, $8 million. Where's that?
That's in that last year, fiscal year 31.
Yeah, 31.
Oh, okay, you got it out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so I don't think that we'll complete the Beckley Elementary project within the CEFP. It ends 2030. I don't foresee that, so I put it in 2031, assuming that it would be in the follow-up CEP.
The rate we're going, I don't know, you build one for $8 million.
You can't. You couldn't. I can tell you that now. You can't build one for $8 million.
We built a whole school with a gym less than that, not that long ago.
Yes.
Marshall Concordo both for less than 8 million, so.
They told us it would be, I think, 2.4 million when we did the CEFP this time, the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 8 million.
Well,
Yeah, and still don't think it'll be close to what
we
we.
looked at auxiliary gyms for Liberty and Independence years ago. It was $1 million apiece.
Yeah.
That's what they told us, about $1 million apiece would, we could add a gym. Just, now that's a participation gym just to practice and stuff like that. So that shows you what things have done.
But at the end of the 5 years, you would have completed $42.3 million of school construction projects, $2.5 million of playgrounds, $5.2 million of HVAC replacements, $7.8 million of roofs, and in student athletics, $1.2 million of turf replacements, $2.1 million in track and tennis replacements, 1.5 million of auxiliary improvements. So in 5 years, you would have done little over, almost $63 million worth of work. So it's pretty incredible. And a lot of that funding is already secured.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And that is all I have. If that's enough.
Use the word all in consent.
I've been through this a lot, guys. And as bad as it is, it could be a lot worse. As Darren said, Charlotte remembers. Charlotte started the process with Darren of putting that money away. When we didn't have money away. She inherited the school system here. We were basically living from paycheck to paycheck, as I call it. And we started putting money away to be able to have it's not just a rainy day fund. It's a fund that, like you said, you can leverage for other projects. It's just not an emergency. It started out maybe as an emergency fund,
Right.
but now it's become a fiscal fund that we can do stuff with. So I congratulate everybody that has worked on that, spent time and had some vision. When you go to a school building authority and you see other counties coming in and saying, we need a roof on our bus garage, we're asking the SBA to pay for us to roof on our bus garage. You can't, get a roof on your bus garage. And they're asking for like $80,000 to put a roof on their little thing. We take care of those things. So
Yeah.
we're blessed.
Well, I think we are blessed, and I think we're blessed in Raleigh County and have been for years and years and years because our voters continue
taxpayers,
to support our levy.
Yes.
Look at poor Summers
I was gonna
County,
say,
and
84
from what I saw last night, they defeated another,
84 votes I understood last night at the end. I don't know if it
I don't know what the
was
in
close.
total was, but it was close. And, I've said in all these meetings for years, I listened to counties that do not have that kind of support.
Right.
And I can remember listening to people actually, getting really, truly upset, not knowing what to do because they were 10 personnel over and had no way to fund those positions whatsoever.
Right.
And so we are blessed in many, many, many ways. And I know, Dr. Starcher talked about closing schools. That's not an easy thing. I've been through that. It's not an easy thing, and it's sad to think that we're at that point that we have to do that. Those are not easy decisions. They're not easy decisions for the board. They're not easy decisions for a superintendent. They're certainly not easy for communities.
Right.
It is a gut wrenching thing. But the reality is, in West Virginia, that's where we are in education.
Well,
Because you look at the number of school closures in this state last year alone, and they all cite the things that you said: declining enrollment, Hope Scholarship, homeschool, all of these things that are pulling the much needed resources, which really breaks my heart, because I still say that public education is the foundation of everything that we believe in this country.
Yeah.
And I hate to see that eroded, but that is in fact what is happening.
well, and the thing of it is that, decline enrollment is all linked to the things you said right afterwards. Let's be honest. When you have Hope Scholars now approaching, what, $300 million?
Yeah.
That's students who would normally been in our public schools before Hope Scholarships. Some of them would not have been, I understand. Some of them still been homeschooled, some of them still been in things, but a lot of them would have been in our public schools. You have charter schools who are ready for that. These virtual charter schools, out-of-state schools, who are taking money from us like crazy.
Somebody else said.
One in Kanawha County, I don't know if we have one in Raleigh County, but
There's one in Fayette County.
one in Fayette County. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So those are all competition they put into us. And then we have the special ed population, which I don't know if the population has grown or has become a larger percentage because of the kids who have left. If you understand what I'm saying. You have 100 kids and 20 of them left. They weren't the special ed kids. So now you still had the 20 special ed kids to start with. Now they're a much greater percent of your population than they were before. And we're charged in public education to educate everybody. Doesn't matter where you come from, where you live at, what your disability is, whatever. We're going to do our best with you. And that said, we're not getting compensated fairly for that.
But if you go back and look at the law book that Dr. Starcher gave us on Monday night, that's the problem with education in West Virginia.
Yeah, it is. The state superintendent of schools did a presentation, and many of you have seen it. He started out, let's say this was the law book. He piled on it. Then he had the green book, which we had today, and laid it on top of it. And then he had the other book. It's about this tall. That's public education. And here, that one piece of paper there, this is what we have for Hope Scholarship schools.
Yeah.
The rules.
I will say, one point of, maybe that's a bright spot that, our charter school allocation has continued to climb, continually through this process. And we invested in our, virtual school, and I am happy to report that trend has went back down the other direction. So our charter school allocation for FY27 actually went down from this year's allocation. Now, that being said, now they've added the elementary component onto this. So, I think we have to do the same in public ed as they're doing in the private world, whether we like it or not. It's not a what necessarily everybody thinks is best for kids anymore. It's can you meet the demand, and that's a sad state of affairs. I think
Well,
that we've come to.
I think there'll come a day when history will show that we failed a lot, not we, a state failed a lot of children because we did not give them the education they deserved, because homeschooling, private schools, say what you want to, I'll put our educational thing up against any of them. A child comes through 13 or 14 years of Raleigh County schools. If they're going to graduate with the opportunity to be successful in life, and we hold them we hold ourselves accountable for that. We test for it. We look at that. We have all these different things we have to meet. Teachers have to meet that. Our competition didn't have to meet that. So those kids are going to be turned out in the public for us to support or do whatever later, with a lack of those skills. And I truly believe that.
That takes $300 million this year that they put in Hope after this legislative session coming up, we're gonna be 4.
Yeah.
4 or 5, I don't know.
It's
It's
just,
sad.
yeah.
Well, that is all I have. And so if anybody has any questions or any other,
Questions?
Dr. Archer, you got anything?
I don't, other than, I am concerned with the 122. Mr. Butcher and I spent, I don't know how much time yesterday trying to figure out how we went from 81 to 122 projected. Now, we did include like a 190 student reduction. But it's still difficult with that number. With that,
Service.
yeah. With that said, though, it's just like looking back at the numbers earlier with the ECATs. I mean, we're not really overstaffed there. Maybe one here, one there, but we're not. It doesn't get us at 122, even close. So I am really concerned that we are going to have to look at reducing positions that we would have never considered reducing before.
we think that some of that, because while we cut positions in the county, the certified list compared to next year's totals don't bear that out. And we think some of that is because there are certain requirements to have to be met before you can report a position on a certified list. Has to be a sub in the position for so long and so forth. It may be a combination of some of that's happened on the certified list side where by
2 years ago, right? 2
well,
years ago.
when
would
I'm
be
looking
80.
I'm looking just at, like, we went from 522 and next year we're going to 541.
Okay.
So certified list compared to where our budget is and when we cut positions. And we think that's because there was positions that we couldn't report on a certified list because they weren't filled. And I think that's what's causing that disparity. And also you got to consider the budget is 100% employment. So that also factors into that. This is a worst case. The 122 is a worst case, I think, for next year. But those factors do bear into these numbers. So while we would expected our trend to be somewhere around 90 something positions, not 121. We do believe that there's something going on with certified list. And some of that may be bore out. The State Department has requested an analysis of going from certified list, looking at what you've hired, what positions you've reduced. We do have to turn that analysis in, so that may bear out more of what we're seeing here. I don't know. So
I think as Mr. Butcher has shared too, I think you have, our financial efficiency review will now include a piece focused on our staff overages. It hasn't in the past, but now. that
it'll
will be-
focus on overages. It also focus on your reserves,
Which are.
year-over-year reserves.
And is that because all these counties are in trouble for that? They're going to
Yeah.
focus on that now?
I think, Charlotte, when you and I were at Stonewall, the two ladies from the State Department talked about that. And maybe there was a gentleman there too, but talked about the new thing and about they were going to look at that staffing and things and schools and what they had done and
In the end, we know we can't operate with almost 200, 190 staff over the fund,
Yeah,
no,
that's
over what
impossible.
we're funded. We just can't,
No.
we cannot survive that way. It's going to be challenging to find the positions to recommend for elimination, especially if my inclination or our inclination is correct that we're seeing a lot of that in the special education area because it goes back many times. I can't say all the time, but many times it's going to be tied right back to an IEP and services to be provided.
an IEP is a federally required legal document that once we sign into it, we have to meet those things.
Correct.
So it's not like, well, we'll just do away with that aid. No, we can't.
And that's why I said earlier, I think we're unfortunately going to have to look at positions that we would have never wanted never, wanted to eliminate in the past to compensate, if you will, for the special ed positions we have to keep.
It points out-
Is, my niece is an OT, and she does some work for free. They just
Well,
fix it right up, I mean, just put it right up, so then we're getting those kids that already have an IEP.
I mean, everything we do, I mean, we talk about enrollment and inflation and all that, but what we've looked at over the last few days and what has been bore out over the last several months is a lot of this is a special ed related problem in terms of funding. We are underfunded for those positions, and it is impacting this staffing overage tremendously. And hopefully we'll get some help from the legislature this session, I would hope.
There was some discussion this year, a bill regarding our level 2 and level 3 students. But, at this point, we appreciate any help we can receive. But the funding, had that bill passed, the funding we would have received would have funded, depending if you looked at professionals or service, somewhere between 11 and 17 positions. That's all. And I mean, I appreciate any funding, but when we're looking at 190 roughly, less than 20 positions isn't going to help us a whole lot. Now, there was another bill that, from the Senate side, that looked at increasing the,
Density
that
ratios.
density ratio by 3 on service and professional. And had that passed, that would have given us about 60 funding for 60 additional positions, 30 on each side. So that would have helped. But I think the study that the House arranged with the Rand Corporation, where it talked about, it found the need to fund special education and low SES and L. I think those were the 3 programs in the state. If that, I mean, if the legislature would take that and really work to meet the recommendations of that study, I think that would just tremendously help school systems.
Did anyone listen to or take part in that online meeting about the recommendations that Sarah Duncan was doing? Did anybody get that
I
information?
wasn't aware of it. Sorry.
Oh, I got it. I got several emails about it.
From who?
They did, and it happened to be the week I was out of town, so I couldn't do it. But it was online, I'm gonna call it training, but I'm not sure that's what it was. That Sarah Duncan with, who's she with?
I know who you're
Yeah.
speaking of. Yes.
Yeah, I can't think
just-
of
I
the
didn't
organization she's with. But they were going to go through the recommendations of the study and the implications for school aid funding formula in West Virginia. And I think that was, I'm pretty sure it was last week while I was gone, but I wasn't able to do it because I wasn't home and I just didn't have good internet access and all that kind of stuff. But
The study itself, I mean, I've read the study. I mean, we would definitely see an increase in funding here in Raleigh County based on our low SES population and our special ed population.
I'll see if I can find some information on that, see if I still have any of the emails about it. But they did, and people were invited to join this and to do this, so.
She did the policy and budget.
Oh, yeah, I think that I think she
Commission
is
or
with
something.
policy and budget.
Yeah,
I'm not
let's go ahead
sure.
and adjourn the meeting, y'all, so we can stay here and talk all day.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay,
This meeting's adjourned.
okay. But yeah, it seemed like it was really interesting and.
Oh, I need to turn.